Alright, so now it's covered in gold. You guess what it is yet? So this is going to sit in there like that up against the battery. The battery tie down will fit here, and this rod will go through there, and basically, and that's in there like that. It'll tie it all together. It reflect the heat away and protect the battery. George is making an awesome dump tube. That one's Bluetooth. That one we're not using. This is the one we care about.
Yeah, the Bluetooth one, no big deal. Hook up a signal to it, make sure the light's flashing.
Yeah, as long as it has a blue light on it and it stops flashing, it means it's connected. So this is the area that we're gonna access the fuel pump. Well, I just took the interior panels out, and it's nice. All the clips are still there without somebody accessing them earlier and losing them. Same as these clips here. It's kind of nice to see all these, because it seems like so many that will take a car apart, won't put the clips back, and then when we come to it, if the clips are not there, when we assemble it, it looks terrible. All the panels are not lining up, so the spare wheel has to come out. As you can tell, we're doing a little bit more showing you behind the scenes and in-depth work that we're doing on this car. And it's not just to make the video boring, it's kind of to give you an idea of some of the extra steps that have to be taken, and I guess I would call it adding value to the job, because it's showing you that you don't simply take it out of the box, bolt it on the car, tighten it up, take it to the dyno, boom, 2 days later you got more horsepower. There's quite a bit more work that goes into it than that. These two clips here, these are inherently pretty tight. You see that somebody's broken that one already, and there's one here. So I'm going to put the camera down to work on those, because this one's already broken and I don't want to break it all the way off, but this panel has to be removed, and then, you know, the fuel pump is behind there. I'll go ahead and take that off. I'll show you what we're looking at back there. So basically now those panels, those clips are up. This panel lifts up into the car and it comes out on an angle. See that now? Push it up there, and it's got two little rubber pieces to click back onto, and then it will come out. You know what I just realized? One of the worst parts about taking the fuel pump out is taking the plastic panels out. And it's not as much taking the plastic panels out, it's the fact that somebody else has been in there first. These panels get broken, these clips get broken. In most cases the panels don't get the clips put back in. Somebody finds that they can't line them up quite right, and basically they don't put the clips back in. This had all the clips, nothing was broken, all the panels are in great shape. So it actually came right out, no problem at all. So maybe that's what I complain at. It's not the car, it's the fact that somebody didn't put it back together right the first time. This thing came out like a dream, George. Yeah. So that is the fuel pump, or that is access to the fuel pump. See, we need room up here. This panel here, okay, wait a while. George is done cutting over there. He's building dump tubes. This panel here, the steel piece, that plastic panel is almost level here, so you can't really get access to this, and when you do, you can't lift it up because it stops here. Where right now, yeah, put your hand all the way up here. So we've got to take those 3 Phillips out, and then there is the 2 fuel lines, and then the bolts that hold that whole sending unit in. All right, here's the fuel sending unit. The fuel pump is actually in that lower cylindrical piece. You can see it right there. So what does a fuel pump look like with 20,000 miles on it? It looks just like one with 100,000 miles on it. That don't have a issue. So we're going to change that. We're going to put our favorite pump in there. The Walbro 255 GSS 342 is the high volume, high pressure pump. Doesn't require anything crazy to run it. and we have had success in hundreds and hundreds of cars. So I'm not going to show you the process of taking it apart because it is kind of boring, but I'll show you what it looks like when it's in. The big issue, well, not so much an issue, you got to make sure that that basket clips back on so the fuel pump doesn't fall out. One of the things I joke about is how much fuel this stores. I've had it sitting dripping over the tank like this for a while to make sure when I pull it out the car it doesn't drip fuel on his interior and make it smell. But when you do this a couple of times, it's like there is a mystery half gallon of fuel always stored in this thing somehow. You will do this and wait, tip it back the other way, and more fuel comes out. It usually happens when I'm holding it above my belly or my pants, because you know it's not right if I don't go home smelling like fuel and oil and possibly both. So we'll do this, tip it back the other way, wait, and tip it back, and it'll often keep leaking. So I'm gonna wait on this and let it drain some more before I pull it apart. Alright, it's kind of noisy out here, but I don't want the gas to be stinking inside the shop. This is the fuel pump that came out. This is the Walbro pump. I see the actual body is quite a bit bigger, and these actually have a steel impella. Much stronger pump, much stronger. So it's a lot larger pump dimensionally without being that much different. Look at that. It's pretty cool, huh? Yeah, that was pretty parallel, right?
That's about there. I don't know how that looks there.
Yeah, that looks real good. It's another rainy day and it's muggy. We didn't put the air conditioning on today because when you're sitting in here and the doors are down, you can't see the outside sky, you feel like you're sealed up from the world. It's kind of weird. It's nice to have the cool air though. You know what I'm doing here, right? Japanese. So yeah, it's yucky. So it's noisy in here. We've got the fans, we've got 3 fans, got an evacuation fan over there, and a couple of big ones pushing this way to get kind of like a breeze through the shop. So it's kind of noisy today.
Yeah. Good for you, man. Well, I wish you guys the best of luck.
Just pulled the pan down to add the drain. The oil looks a little dark on camera. I think that's just because it's gathered in one spot, but I just can't believe how clean this pan is. It looks like a brand new pan. That's crazy. I guess it does only have 26,000 miles, huh? Alright, well, I got the pan here and I've just cleaned it. Cleaned all the glue off the rail, and I've just put a hole in it for my fitting. It's a pretty big hole. But what I like to do is take the fitting, when I put it on there, I can weld the inside. I like to weld the inside and the outside for extra strength and a leak-free seal. So there's the drain welded on. And on the inside as well. Extra protection.
So what kind of gasket is this? Man-made gasket?
Tube gasket.
DIY?
Yeah.
This of course is Honda Bond. If you're not familiar with this product, it's probably one of the best products known to man. Well, these don't have a gasket. What you do is you use Honda Bond, which is a liquid gasket, and the two surfaces are absolutely perfectly flat. You put them together. What I recommend is you put them together, let them sit for 24 hours before you put oil in, and it'll be perfect. Of course, if you're in a rush, you can do it a little faster than that, but 24 hours is what I'd recommend. Past experience. And yeah, before you point it out, we know there's a gap there, and we know there's a gap there. Alright, so I am building the titanium exhaust right now. See a little bit there. The way it's designed is it has a slip with some springs on there. That way it has the ability to flex and give. A couple of bends I have right here put together. This is awesome. I mean, it's so light. It kind of feels like you're working with something that you could break. You could just snap it over your knee. It's so light. It's kind of weird. I've been working with stainless all my life, and titanium for maybe a year. We get the questions all the time. How much for an exhaust for an S2000 shipped to blah blah blah? Well, we don't build to ship, and a lot of people are blown away by that decision. Well, let's say we build this exhaust and it fits perfect. It's going to have 2 inline mufflers. It's going to be a muffler here, pre-muffler. It's going to have another small one back here. And again, the turbo will take a lot of the noise out of it. But let's say we build this. Well, then we need to make a fixture from it, build an exhaust off the fixture, then the exhaust that comes off the fixture, test on a car to make sure it's correct. And then in production, I used to do production in my apprenticeship days, but realistically, the first one should be test fit on whatever you're putting it on. Build 3 or 4, the 5th one try again, and periodically you should take it off the fixture and make sure it fits the car or whatever you're building it for. That sounds great from a business standpoint. That might be fantastic. You know, hire a guy that's good at titanium, teach him, and get him to build exhausts all day. Well, that's no fun. I mean, I wouldn't want to do it. I wouldn't want George to do that all day long. It goes from being a fun job to just mundane, which means it's the same thing every day. It goes from welding really cool titanium S2000 exhaust to you may as well be making fence posts. You know, it's boring. I don't want to do that. I don't want George to do that, and I don't want to hire someone just to do that. Once you do production work, it gets boring. Chances are quality goes down. Accidents start happening because you're so complacent doing the same thing. We don't do that. So if you ask us why we don't produce the exhaust, the twin loop, the titanium, the X pipes for the Z06s, we've done a couple of those. I don't want to build those things all day long. I don't want to sit at a bench welding. This is fun as can be. I don't want to weld all day long, so sorry, that ain't something we're going to do. It isn't something we're going to offer. Does it come with hardware?
A roll of hardware.
Uh-oh, double-sided tape and some sheet metal screws. So that piece here is the piece that goes across here. Because we're going with a single, it's a piece that fills this in, caps this side, and leaves this open so the exhaust will come through. We're not going to finish the back section until that part is on and attached, because if we put it in a predetermined area here and then that piece gets installed and it either changes that shape or even brings that down, it's going to throw off what we've already built. So we're going to put that on, get it where we need it, then finish the back section. This is all tacked together a lot. Beautiful hand
JDM mahogany.
laid mahogany. Cool, at least the cutouts on the right side.
Yeah.
That would suck if it's the other side and we just built the exhaust, purpose built, and don't work. Not that that's happened before. Let's see what we got. I'm guessing it'll fit there pretty nice.
I'd say you guessed wrong, but
Uh-oh.
I would like squeeze in.
Yeah, you gotta...
Really
if I hold
push
this
on
in
it.
there...
Double side tape's not going to hold that down.
No, it's just gonna come loose as soon as you...
Yeah.
Where do the screws go?
I'm going to guess on the bottom there's a hole here and a hole over here.
If they're screwed, will the top fit? Well, when you put... Look how far I am off one.
Yeah.
That's no good. That's just gonna come loose and have a big gap. So basically...
It's flexing the bumper too when
Yeah.
holding it in place.
Look at this stuff. Alright, no, we're not putting that on. It's unfortunate, but I've put the plastic ones on there, the ABS plastic, and they fit like factory. I mean, they almost stay up there on their own. This is a different shape.
That's not the same shape as the bumper.
No, that's disappointing. Well, that sucks. Has it got a damage part?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's just white.
Yeah, it's like some kind of mold release agent or something.
Okay. Yeah, that's not going to work. We're not going to mold the bumper to fit the fiberglass piece, carbon fiber, whatever it is. At least we got it in video and we can show him what it looks like. We're just going to have to build it to this and leave like 1/4 of an inch just in case he does put one of the ABS plastic ones on. And we'll call him, let him know. But unfortunately, it's a judgment call. We're not putting that on. It's not going to fit. So we're going to use the factory style hangers. This is a hanger material that, let me get it focused, you can buy from Tycon, and you cut it where you need it. I cut it in a 45 IBC and welded it back together. That way it will go on a factory hanger here, that will go in there, and cut it on the side of the body, and probably going to lay it on the top there somewhere. I'll figure out what angle I need it. Actually, if I cut a 90 and lay it along the pipe, that will probably do it. I don't weld right over their name, so I'll cut it a little bit higher, maybe there. Let me go ahead and cut it and weld it. I'll show you what I do. I'm not going to show you these yet, but George is building a motorcycle exhaust over here. I am working on titanium. Ooh. One of the things I'm going to try and do is blue the tip. It's a straight cut tip. I'm going to blue it and see if I can get a bit of a titanium effect with it before we finish welding it. And if it turns out good, I'll leave it. If not, I'm going to just rebrush and just get a natural finish on there. So let me give that a shot. I'm not going to show you the step-by-step. I'm just going to use my torch and go really, really lightly and just get a bit of a blue, like a blue look, because it kind of gives the titanium like a dead giveaway. It's kind of like the part of the titanium thing, right? So let me give it a shot and I'll show you what it looks like. That turned out pretty good, didn't it? That's blue tip attempt number 2. And I didn't have to build a hot plate and weld it and have it fall apart on me. You can't see that, it's kind of dark. But that is actually kind of a pretty blue. It's almost got some purple to it.
No, it came out real nice.
Yeah, I like that. Alright, so the exhaust is done. Here we are. One titanium exhaust with a blue tip. So it's got 2 resonators, mufflers, whatever you want to call them. There is a pre-muffler and then a muffler on the end. So let's get a weight on this, zero it out. Just give you an idea, I'm using a tie wrap to hang it by, so hopefully that tie wrap can handle whatever the weight of the exhaust is. We'll find out. .10 pounds, and I left the rubber hangers on there. They're not real heavy, but they're on there. That's our official weight right there, so quite a big weight savings. And of course the titanium cool look. Look at that titanium. Alright, so let me bring you up to speed and show you what we have going on right now. Blow-off valve is installed. This is obviously the one provided in the kit. These are the dump tubes, which there's a lot more time in those than you probably think. They go clear down there, and I'll show you when we're up in the air. There is a urethane mount to support the ends. They're also tied together in a press fit sleeve so that each one can move independent and expand and contract. And you see they kind of look cool. They look like they're doing the same thing. Other thing we had to take into account was hood clearance. So you see that tube here, you see how it's curving down. Well, we're trying to keep everything a low profile so that we have hood clearance. These are only going to get hot under full boost. Well, we don't have the ability to coat these to match, so we're going to let it roll the way it is, and then if it's something that he wants to coat, that's something that they just basically come off with these 2 clamps here. There's a mount on the bottom, they come off. Most of this coating, like this high temp coat, once it's coated, come to our friends at AB Powder Coat, it needs to cure for a week before you start putting it into use. I guess it has some kind of curing process, so that isn't something we're going to be able to do at this time. Plus, it kind of looks cool in silver. It kind of adds a little bit of contrast in there. Right now, George is changing, or not changing, adding the wastegate springs. So we're putting a boost controller on this so we can actually adjust the boost, but the springs, there is a pretty good selection. We can go all the way down to 3 psi, all the way to, what is it, up to about 11 in the kit.
I think 27.
27, that'd be a massive
put
spring.
all the springs in.
Yeah, that'll get all the boost.
Because there's a small, a medium, and a large spring, so you can technically put 3 springs in. Put the 3 heaviest springs in, and I think it's supposed to be about 27 pounds.
Yeah, which we're not going to be going that high. So we're going to put the 8.7 pound spring in here. So 8.7 pounds on the gate with no boost controller. We're guessing with this turbo and the setup, upper 3s, 380, 370, I don't know. Again, depends how conservative we are, which we are ultra conservative. You see some of the coating over here. The tape, that's just while we're handling it. We're going to be pulling that off, obviously, before we start it. Boost controller, will kind of play this by ear. We're not going to turn it up and just see what it does. We're going to kind of creep up, tune it on the wastegate, make that 1 boost setting, and then creep up and see where the car is happy, see where it needs to be. Catch can still needs to be installed. Exhaust is on. Vacuum lines have to be put on. Oil and fluid is pretty much it. Also, there's a big whacking thing goes here known as the VTEC solenoid. That has to be put back on. Putting that manifold in and out of this spot is extremely tight. So we took that off for clearance's purpose, and just before we started, obviously we got a new gasket and we'll put that on, but there is almost no way to get that manifold in and out without that removed. So we're looking pretty good. We're getting close. I'm really hoping it's going to start today. All right, so this is what we have underneath the car. Remember, I was talking about the wastegate tubes. Here we are right here. They're actually got a slip in here, so each one can slip independent. Then it has a urethane mount here, which gives them a bit of flex too. That way, as the engine torques, everything can move, and it's going to give those a little bit more support. Charge tube, see, that's one we had to make. The other one didn't fit. That one does fit. Radiator is on. Somebody asked about worm clamps. Over time, the Honda ones seem to lose their tension, and when the hose has already been basically it's compressed so much with the clamp, when you take it apart, put it back on, we've often had those clamps leak. So we put the stainless worm clamps on there, and it seems to give it a little bit more strength. I showed you this clamp earlier, this bracket we made, and it's clamped on the exhaust. So this is the titanium slip right here. These are the springs that keep everything pushed up. This is obviously designed to do this. It's a little dark under here, but you see what the titanium exhaust looks like. This is in the spot for the factory resonator, and it's in that spot for a reason. It takes some of the drone out of it. It's a lot to do with the distance. And we go over here, and we have our muffler here, and our blue tip. And you can't see right now because it's on the floor, but now the tip sticks out the perfect amount. I don't like them sticking out too far here because they look kind of terrible. I don't like them set back in here because as you get the gas and the air, it creates a big reversion right here, and then the bumper just ends up with the biggest black spot on here. This is from wiping it with a towel, but that looks good. I think it's gonna like that. And the blue tip is part of giving away the titanium look. Gotta put this brace back on here, and we're gonna go down, start working on the rest of the stuff. All right, look what just arrived, the new Milwaukee drill. This is the newer version of this. This we've had about 1.5 years. We use this thing every single day. This is fantastic. These are kind of pricey, but over the years we've tried all the brands, and I know everyone will stick up for their brand because that's what you do. I'm filming my chest again. Everyone sticks up for their favorite brand, but this, in my opinion, this is the best. And I've thrown so many of these away over the years. You gotta remember, we've been doing this 21 years. And of course the technology is getting better. This is the newer version. The fuel that you see on the side there, if it'll focus, it's actually not on that side. There it is, fuel. That is mean that these are brushless, which brushless is more efficient than brushed motors. I know that from my RC flying. So this is one of the 5.0 batteries. Actually, it's a 4.0. Some of our batteries are weak, so we have some new batteries coming. We also have a Milwaukee Impact, which we use every single day also, which is sitting over here. This is also a brushed piece. These batteries are about 1.5 years old. They're all starting to lose their power.
We have rebuilt that already too from previous videos.
That's the one, yeah. We bought new brushes for it and you pulled it apart.
Yep.
Yeah, so this, we use it every single day. Again, this isn't a paid advertisement by Milwaukee, but you know what? If you send us a Milwaukee drill, we'll definitely review it, but it'll be paid on it. So yeah, this is fantastic. So this will be the next to get replaced when this dies, but for right now, it's doing just fine. There we go, new brake, more custom stuff.
I think we have to go 150. The 120 will be too close.
Yeah.